What if everything you've ever believed about inner peace is a complete lie? Most of us share the exact same delusion. I will be at peace when my job is more stable. I will be at peace when I make more money. I will be at peace when my family drama is finally resolved. I will be at peace when people stop hurting me. We constantly convince ourselves that peace is waiting for us, just on the other side of our current troubles. That if we can just overcome one more obstacle, solve one more crisis, then finally, life will become gentle. But then a new problem emerges, a new pressure, a new anxiety, a new storm, and we continue to wait for a day when life finally decides to be quiet. But that day does not exist, because life by its very nature is made of constant change. There will always be plans that fall apart. There will always be people who let you down. There will always be loss, failure, and days when everything feels like a conspiracy against you. If peace only appears when the storm vanishes, then none of us will ever be at peace. Over 1,000 years ago, a powerful king was obsessed with this exact problem. He wanted to know, what does true peace actually look like? He possessed everything a human being could ever dream of: a wealthy empire, a powerful army, a magnificent palace. But inside his chest, he never knew a single moment of tranquility. At night, he lost sleep fearing war. By day, he lived in paranoia of betrayal. When the harvest was rich, he feared the coming famine. When the nation was at peace, he feared the hidden catastrophe. The harder he tried to control his life, the more insecure life made him feel. Finally, the king declared a contest across the empire. He announced, "I will grant a massive reward of pure gold to the artist who can paint the perfect visual depiction of absolute peace." The finest masters quickly set to work. Weeks later, the canvases were brought to the royal court. The first painting was a masterpiece of flawless, predictable calm. It showed a crystal-clear lake beneath a spotless blue sky. The water was smooth as a mirror, not a single ripple. The king stared at it for a long time. Beautiful, but not enough. The second painting showed a vast green meadow under a gentle twilight sun, flowers blooming everywhere, children playing, a soft breeze brushing through the grass. The king nodded slightly, but he still felt something was missing. Then, he walked up to the final painting. He immediately frowned. This canvas was a violent nightmare. The sky was pitch black. Sharp lightning bolts ripped through the heavy clouds. The rain poured down mercilessly. A colossal, furious waterfall crashed down a jagged cliffside. The heavy impact of the water smashed into the rocks below, creating a deafening roar that shook the entire valley. The king was baffled. "This is peace?" He was about to walk away, but then he noticed a tiny, hidden detail. Right behind the violent drop of the waterfall, in a microscopic crack of the jagged rock, almost invisible to the naked eye, there was a small green bush, and inside that bush, A tiny mother bird had built her nest. Right there, inside the nest. The little bird was fast asleep. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't shaking. She wasn't trying to run away from the storm. She was simply resting. The king stood frozen before that canvas for hours. Outside the painting was the thunder, the raging torrents of water crashing down the black cliff, the howling wind tearing through the forest. Everything was moving. Everything was chaotic. And yet, there was the little bird. She didn't waste her energy fighting the waterfall. She didn't complain to the clouds, begging the lightning to stop. She didn't wait for the sky to clear before allowing herself to rest. She simply remained there, still, as if the deafening roar of the world did not even exist. The king looked at the waterfall, then at the bird. He looked back at the waterfall, and back at the bird. And in that exact moment of absolute silence, he finally understood what he had been searching for his entire life. For decades, the king had been trying to make the entire world go quiet. He wanted war to disappear. He wanted betrayal to disappear. He wanted loss to disappear. He wanted reality to obey his fragile rules. He had always believed that if he could just conquer one more storm, he would find his peace. But life is exactly like the waterfall before him. The moment you cross one wave, another wave instantly appears. The moment you survive one violent winter, another season of storms begins. Life has never promised anyone that it would become easy, and perhaps ease was never the meaning of peace. Because if peace only exists when the world falls silent, then you will be waiting forever. Probably for the rest of your life. The waterfall will always flow. It will always change. It will always deliver the unpredictable. There will be days of clear blue skies, and there will be days when the hurricane hits without warning. There will be people who walk into your life, and there will be people who abandon you. There will be victory. There will be defeat. There will be beautiful unions. There will be brutal separations. The waterfall will continue to crash according to its own nature. The only choice you actually have is what you choose to become inside that roar. Will you be a dry leaf, swept away helplessly by the violent current? Or will you be the little bird, sleeping soundly right behind the crash? The king finally woke up to a brutal truth. Peace is not living in a world without noise. Peace is the sovereign power to refuse to let your heart become a part of that noise. Because if your emotional stability always depends on external circumstances, then the world will manipulate you like a cheap puppet. When someone praises you, you are happy all day. When someone criticizes you, you lose sleep all night. When work is smooth, you feel worthy. When work gets heavy, you start doubting your entire existence. When everything goes your way, you feel calm. But the moment a minor inconvenience happens, your entire inner universe collapses. That is not peace. That is an emotional addiction to your surroundings. The little bird behind the waterfall teaches us a completely different paradigm of strength. Life can be loud. People will change. Plans will fail. Loss will happen. But there must exist a sacred sanctuary inside of you, where none of those external forces can ever reach. That is true power. Not the egoistic power to conquer the world, but the absolute power to never lose yourself to the world. The waterfall will keep crashing. The storm will keep howling. Life will continue to test your boundaries. But your inner sanctuary stands completely unyielding, like a mountain that does not argue with the wind. like the moon that does not fight with the moving clouds, like the vast ocean that does not get angry at its own waves, and like that tiny bird who owns her stillness right in the center of the roar. It was never the waterfall that kept the bird awake. Only the fear inside her own mind could ever do that. Perhaps the greatest hurricane of human life has never been outside of us. It has always been the chaotic war zone inside our own minds. And perhaps this is the exact liberation the king had been searching for. Not a life free of storms, but a soul stable enough to walk through the fire without burning away. Tomorrow, you will still have to face the exact same pressures. The high-stress job will still be there. The heavy responsibilities will still be there. The unexpected crises will still happen. Life will probably not become any gentler with you. The waterfall will continue to crash according to its own nature. But perhaps, somewhere deep behind that deafening noise, you too can build a small nest for your soul. And one day, in the middle of the loudest chaos of your life, on a day when it feels like everything is falling apart, you will still be able to sit perfectly still. You will still be able to smile. You will own your peace. Just like the little bird, sleeping soundly behind the roar. If you are ready to stop fighting the waterfall and build your nest in absolute sovereignty tonight, leave a comment below with 4 words. Peace in the storm. Stay awake on your journey.